Master Your Mindset Radio, Episode 17.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I want to talk to you about playing to your strengths and knowing when to do that. I'm going to share a little personal story with you that brought it home for me. But the idea is that our greatest strengths can sometimes become our greatest weaknesses. And I will explain to you why that is. This weekend, one of my sons had a tournament out of state. And my husband took him as I had to do other things with the other kids. So I got a phone call somewhere in between all those games. And clearly this child of mine, whom I adore, was very frustrated. He was frustrated with his performance, with his team's performance, and all these things were coming out of his mouth that were just negative. Now, my kids know if they talk like that around me, they're going to get a mindset speech. I can't help it. It's in my blood. It's in my cells. It just comes out of me. And I do it, of course, as a loving mom, but I push them and I say, listen, what you're saying is not in congruence with the results that you want. So you clearly are not going to perform well. And I've sort of just went into my preaching mode with him. And it's all stuff he's heard before. But of course, you need to remind once in a while to get yourself back on track. So I thought, well, great, he's going to get all fired up for his next game and he's going to fix his mindset. But that's not where he was at the time. And his reaction was not good. And I could tell on the phone, through the phone, that what I just said to him was of zero help, which was frustrating for me. But what happened in the next 15 minutes of tears and going back and forth and me trying to help and not really connecting with him like I normally do, is I had a breakthrough moment and an aha moment that helped me understand myself and helped him understand his mom better. And I said to him, you know what? I just realized something, because he was getting so frustrated with all the advice I was giving him. He's heard it before. He knows it. And he said something to me that just made me realize. He said, Mom, right now, I just want to be upset. Mom, right now, I just want to cry and have you tell me it's okay. Right now, that's just where I need to be. And I thought, oh my gosh, wait a minute. And it hit me. I realized that I was using my strengths to try to help him. But in fact, it was not what he needed at the moment. It became my greatest weakness. It wasn't what he needed. He was at a point where, yes, he was going to pull himself back. Yes, he was going to get his mindset together because he knows all of this. He has the knowledge. But what I didn't get, and probably because I was on the phone with him and I didn't see his body language or whatever, was he just wanted me to be mom. He just wanted a shoulder to cry on. He wanted to get his frustration out. He needed to literally get the tears out. He didn't want to hear a speech right then. And the reality to me was, wow, I just missed it. I totally missed it. And it hit me that I need to be more conscious of what the situation that I'm in requires rather than just what my strengths are. Because I know what I do well and I just go to it like it's just a default. It's a default for me just to react that way and say what I say and encourage and push and coach. I'm just a coach at nature, but I missed it with him. That's not what he needed right then. So I said to him, whoa, stop. I said, listen, I need you to understand something about me. You tell me all the things you want in your life. When you tell me I want this result, I want to win this game, I want to be best in my position, I want this, I want that. When I hear all that, I'm a coach. That's the way God made me. That's just what I am. I'm not a counselor. I don't hold hands well long term. I'm a coach. I push. If you tell me that you want to reach something, I will say, okay, let's go. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to get there. That's what I'll do because that's innately the way that I'm made. But that isn't what he needed just then. That isn't what he wanted to hear from me. He wanted me just to give him the ability to be upset, just to give him the space to deal with his emotions rather than kick right into mindset gear. So I missed it. But it hit me later, wow, a few things. First of all, after explaining that to him, I think he understands me better. And that's always good, right? He understands that this is the way I'm made. And so when I go into that mode, it's not that I'm being harsh with you. It's just when you say you want to achieve something, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. But it also helped me see that it's not always beneficial to be in our strengths. That it's the success isn't in that. The success comes from playing in your strengths in the right situations. You know, Aristotle says, he had a famous quote saying something like, virtue lies between deficiency and excess. That what that really means is that the virtue, the right thing, is moderation, and not to be deficient and not to be too much in excess in anything. So if one of your strengths is, for example, that you're a very open person, there's some times when you may be oversharing and you need to know that this is not the time to share, right? If your strength is telling stories, you're a really good storyteller, let's say. Sometimes you need to know that this is not a situation in which anybody wants to hear your story right now, or it's a small group where other people want to talk. I think sometimes people that are speakers on stage and kind of performers in that way, and they're strong and they're charismatic, and they get into a small group, if they continue to operate in that strength, they will push people away because that's not the right time for it. So the confidence of understanding your strengths, that is very important. And I preach about that all the time. It's in my book. Understand your strengths. Don't operate and focus on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. Get your weaknesses to the point of competency, life skills, things like that. But focus on your strengths, which will lead you to your purpose. Do you guys hear that? That's my dog moaning in the background, which is fabulous. And I'm sure right now you thought before I said that I was sitting in some beautiful studio somewhere recording this podcast. But the reality is I'm hiding in a corner of my house away from house construction, and I had to bring this dog in with me to have him stop barking. So you guys have to sit and listen to him moaning. Isn't that great? Anyway, so what can I say? It's real life. So what I want you to understand is, yes, understanding and knowing your strengths. There's so much confidence that comes from that. But really your power, when it really kicks into true power, is knowing when to use those strengths, how to use those strengths, the right time to use those strengths, the right people to use those strengths with. I mean, just walking around in your strengths 24/7 is simply going to push people away. And it's really, I use that saying a lot, the bull in a china shop. But, you know, I get so excited when people figure out what their strengths are and their purpose. But we're not operating in that 24/7. We just need to be human sometimes. We just need to understand the situation that we're in. And as parents, I think that's incredibly important, is to be able to understand what our kids need in the moment and be able to be that for them rather than consistently be in our strengths, which may end up not filling a need that they have at that particular moment. I hope that helps someone. I hope that you can think about, if you do know your strengths, which if you don't, please go figure them out. Please do what you can. Ask others. Take assessments. It's really important that you understand what your strengths are. But the next level is to understand when and how to apply your strengths and when to walk in them. Now, I don't want you to get the idea, since I know that my strength is in the form of coaching and pushing people and mindset, that I'm always doing that. I would be exhausted. I would be totally exhausted. So it's not like I'm walking around looking for those opportunities. That's not the case. But when somebody says something to me, when the subject matter comes up, when someone says I want to reach this goal, it's hard for me not to kick into gear. And you know what? It's not always important for me to do that. And for some people, they just need to talk and they don't want your advice. And in the case of my son, he just wanted a shoulder to cry on, which is totally valid, because understanding him better is that one of the ways he gets back to his strength is to get rid of his emotion, is to deal with it, to process it, and to literally dump it out of his system. And I understand that about him. So this thing that happened over the phone was not good until we set it straight, because I wasn't seeing that in him. I was only talking to him on the phone. And so now I understand him better. Now he understands me better. So all of that, of course, is great and beneficial, and I'm grateful for that. But the message for you guys is to think about what your strengths are and to think about when to use them and when to mute them. Maybe that's a good word. It's not that you put them aside completely, is that you mute it a little bit. In some situations, it's just not the right time or the right place. So even think about this in a career setting. The reason why you get hired in a job, the strengths that people see in you, they're not always to your benefit. Sometimes they can become your weakness if they become all that you do all the time, and you don't allow others to shine, or you don't allow for differing opinions, or you can't see yourself correctly. So it's not always the case that our strength has to lead in every single scenario. So don't let your strength become a weakness. Make sure that your confidence is built in what your strengths are, but you're building ultimate power in knowing when and how to use them. And in that, you will really then begin to change people's lives and start to see things happen around you as a result of you walking in your strengths at the right time and applying them correctly. Hopefully that helps somebody out there. I hope you guys get a chance to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss it. And also, the book makes a great Christmas present. So that's on Amazon, Master Your Mindset, The Master's Way. It really is life-changing. It's a game changer. If you want to give somebody something that will change 2020 for them, definitely think about getting them the book. If you already have it, please post a review. And hey, post a review on the podcast too. All of this helps get the message out to more people. I look forward to seeing you guys online. I hope you're all members of the Facebook community. Make sure you get in there. The information's at the end of the podcast, but there'll be a lot happening in 2020 that you'll want to be a part of. So make sure you join the Facebook group, okay? So I am signing off from the corner of my house with my whiny dog in the background and living a real life. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.